Danny, good news today. Harry Anderson signing for us permanently after a loan spell last season.
Yeah, delighted to be able to get Harry over the line. He's obviously a boy that Nicky and I know well. We were pleased to be able to bring him back in January because I think with Harry, he's someone that's played this level for a long time, mastered this level, had 2 promotions from League Two, knows what it takes. He's a great person on the pitch and an equally good person off the pitch as well. And we knew when we brought him in January that he understood how we worked, would be able to carry that message, would be able to integrate within the group really quickly. And yeah, that was a really smooth transition. I think he's a boy that wherever he goes, he's popular and well liked in the dressing room, and also really appreciated by supporters in terms of the way that he plays for the team. He always puts a team before himself, and you know when you look at his qualities as an attacking player, he's very powerful, very athletic, very direct, always involved in goals. Whether scoring them or assisting them, and also the other side of the game against the ball gives so much to the team. So delighted that he's now with us on a permanent basis. Obviously the last probably 18 months have been frustrating for him in terms of injury, and it's been a little bit stop-start. And we probably knew that when he came in January there wasn't going to be smooth sailing because he'd obviously had a limited amount of game time in the first half of the season. But now we're pretty sure that with a good pre-season and us being able to find that rhythm that he needs in his training, then we're going to see the best of him.
Yeah, and he mentioned to us about how frustrated that he didn't get a good pre-season under his belt this time last year. So how important is a good pre-season for Harry?
No, absolutely. I think this time last year he'd had a groin operation and some work done there, and then probably he came back and went straight into pre-season, which is the type of boy he is. I say this a lot, you know, for Nicky and I, you know, you have 2 types of players. You have the players that you have to constantly push forward, or the ones that you need to hold back, and we like the ones that you have to hold back. And Harry's definitely one of them, because sometimes his heart rules his head, and he's such an honest, hard-working boy who just wants to do his best. But sometimes you have to save those players for themselves. And I think for us, we know Harry, we know his body, we know how to train him intelligently to be able to get him to perform consistently well. And we're looking forward, as I say, to renewing that relationship. And I think he'll bring a lot to us both on and off the pitch.
And he wasn't the first signing, of course. Matt Macy coming in goal for us.
Yeah, we're really pleased to do that. A couple of weeks ago, he's a goalkeeper that brings a huge amount of experience. Played at a really good level. Played at some really big clubs. Obviously, brings a real presence in terms of his height. You probably see the photos. My wife, I think, thought I was about 4'10" standing next to him, but I did have to reassure her that he's actually about 6'7" because Andy set me up for that, I think. But yeah, it was a great signing for us. Saying we're really delighted to be able to bring to the club. I think it was an area of the pitch that we needed to try to bring a level of experience in. And I think that, you know, you look at the team last year. I think we only kept 5 clean sheets in 50 odd games. So it was obviously an area that we wanted to try to improve in. And for Nicky and myself, the number 1 position is such a critical position on the pitch. You know, in modern day football, we want so much from our goalkeepers, not just in terms of presence and commanding their area and shot stopping, but also with the ball at their feet. And yeah, Matt brings a really broad range of skills, and I think a boy with a huge presence, and will definitely add to the group that we already have.
Yeah, and on the opposite side of the coin, obviously we're sad to lose 2 young players who looked really good last season in a struggling side, and we've had to let them go. Yeah,
of course. For us, Jaden Fevereau and Joe Mingy were 2 players that we absolutely loved working with. Both had a huge amount of athleticism and pace, but also, both really humble, hard-working and wanted to learn. So it was a pleasure to work with both of them. Obviously, we'd worked with Joe Mingy at Portsmouth before as well, so it was great for us to get back here and get him back to his best football. And Fev's just, what a brilliant first season in senior football. So, of course, part of me is sad to see young players go, but I think for us as a football club, it was the right thing. I think we're always, you know, since the moment we come in really, Robbie's spoken about growth and trying to grow the club, and every decision that we make and every action that we have here is about trying to grow Colchester United. And for us, you know, we want to be a club that can develop young players, that then can enjoy the young players in the first team, and then when the time is right, to then be able to move them on, and then to reinvest that money, to be able to continue to develop and to continue to grow. And I think as a football club now, we're getting a brilliant reputation of developing young players. You go back as far as Sammy Smodics, who was obviously top scorer in the Championship this season, and you go through and you look at all the young players, Kwame Poku, you look at more recently Junior, and now Jaden Fevrier and Jay Mingy. So I think people now know that there's a real conveyor belt of young talent. You know, James McFarlane and the academy doing an unbelievable job on a day-to-day basis of developing young players, and people know there's really good players here. And I think that is really exciting for the young players we already have at the club. You look at likes of Bradley, you look at Sampson, who have got such exciting futures. And you also think about the potential players that are going to come to the club. And again, you know, if I was a parent of a young player, if I was an agent of a young player, if I was just a young player myself, I'd be looking at Colchester and thinking, wow, what a brilliant football club for me to continue my football development, somewhere where I know I'm going to get good coaching, where I know that there's a clear pathway for me to develop. And yeah, we believe in this model. We think this is a really good model for us as a football club to help continue to grow and develop. And I think what we now have to do, because we've done this well as a football club over a period of time now, we now have to use this model to really help us find a consistent level of performance at first team level as well. Because of course, yeah, we want to develop young players, but we also want to have success on the pitch as well, and we want to try to find that balance, and that's what we're working hard to achieve.
And you mentioned there the recruitment of potential players from elsewhere or free agents. I mean, you must be wanting to get that done before pre-season starts in a couple of weeks, but we all know the window's open for a long time after that. We might have to wait.
Of course, you know, for us, we're working really hard behind the scenes. Dimitri, Simon Bassi, myself, Nicky, Lorenzo, Yilmaz, and all of the coaching staff and the recruitment staff are working together really to try to find the right players and the right fit for Colchester United and the way that we want to play moving forward. In an ideal world, we'd have all the work done by the time the players are back on June the 27th. We're realistic enough to know, we've lived football long enough to know that it doesn't always, that we don't live in an ideal world. So I think, yeah, we are experienced enough to know where we're at, what we need to add. We also understand the market, and we also understand that we need to get good value for money. And sometimes the value for money is not in May and not even in early June, and we have to be a little bit more patient. But we have clarity over what we want. We will hopefully have the spine of the team in place for the beginning of the pre-season, because that's obviously such a vital time for us to be able to work as a group and bring people together, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. But yeah, for sure, I think we'll be using the depth of the window to be able to add those bits to the group, which, you know, sometimes players that you want are not quite available to you in early June, but do become available to you in July and maybe even the beginning of August. So yeah, patience. It's not really a virtue that I was blessed with, but I'm doing my best to show it. And yeah, I think for us, the great thing is we know exactly what we need. We know the type of players that we need. We know the type of people that we need in order to bring success to this football club. And yeah, we'll make some intelligent, informed decisions that will hopefully allow us to get better on the pitch.